This was the match everyone wanted to see. A sellout crowd of 28,000, easily the biggest at Fratton Park this season. And within 2 minutes, Portsmouth might well have scored. Mike Fillery's corner kick flicked on for Mick Quinn, whose header went wide. Liverpool are always dangerous, though. Steve McMahon's pass put John Barnes in the clear, but the goalkeeper's challenge knocked him off balance, and Billy Gilbert had time to scoop the ball clear. The second half now, and very soon, the seemingly inevitable, a goal for Liverpool. Barnes on the ball, and his cross deflected in off the unfortunate Gilbert. Back came Portsmouth, battling to avoid their first defeat in 11 matches. Quinn drove the ball in, but the referee had spotted his push on Barry Venison, and the celebrations were short-lived. With 5 minutes left, Peter Beardsley and Ray Houghton set up Barnes' second goal, which settled the issue and leaves the question, can anyone stop Kenny Dalglish's Liverpool? Final score, Portsmouth 0, Liverpool 2.
£1 for goalkeeper Bobby Mims. Inside 2 minutes at Highbury, it looked like he'd put paid to their chances as Alan Smith scored. A costly slip, particularly for the men who signed the cheque, but it could easily have been worse. Perry Groves, the horrified offender. A half-time talking to from the management, though, revitalised Spurs and brought a classic strike from Clive Allen. But Tottenham's dancing in the rain soon had Arsenal stepping up the tempo. Perry Groves' quick step and pirouette settling the match.
With the Glasgow goal with a barrage of attempts, but in the end the desperate defending came to nothing, with Pechorka putting the locals ahead. Even though Woods saved several shots, he could do nothing as a Jovan free kick took a deflection to complete the scoring at 2-0. In Germany, Bayern Munich was at home to Real Madrid, two teams who many hoped would be in the final. However, it was Fugler who broke the deadlock in the 40th minute. Just before the break, Eder pounced on a cheeky through ball to make it 2-0. The goals continued in the second half and Bayern looked set to score a big win, with Matthias netting his team's third goal. However, Real's fighting character began to show and the ever-dangerous Emilio Butragueño took advantage of a poor back pass to narrow the deficit. Then in the final, won to complete the scoring at 3-2. No doubt a good result for Real, who play the second leg at home. Meantime, a thunderbolt from Touré put Bordeaux ahead against PSV, but Kiev equalised in the 40th to make it 1-1. Two first-half goals in the space of 4 minutes gave Benfica a 2-0 win over Belgian champions Anderlecht in Lisbon. Swedish striker Magnusson scored the first, and then Chiquinho was left totally unmarked for the simplest of goals. Benfica 2, Anderlecht 0. A well-angled header from Saravakos gave Panathinaikos the lead in the 54th in the UEFA Cup quarter-final against FC Bruges. However, Koulemans equalised with a header which somewhat stunned the Greek keeper. It seemed that headers were the order of the day. In the 64th, Antonio put Panathinaikos back in front. Panathinaikos' hopes of reaching the semi-finals took a nosedive 7 minutes from time. A communication breakdown at the back left Agrias free and he made no mistake. Panathinaikos 2, Bruges 2. In the Cup Winners' Cup quarter-finals, Belgian club Mechelen was at home to Dynamo Minsk. A seemingly simple chase for the ball ended in disaster for this Minsk striker. Upset at not being awarded a penalty, he lands a punch on the goalkeeper's leg. Down to 10 men, Dynamo found the going tough. Goal of the game to give Mechelen a 1-0 win. The Belgians are yet to concede a goal in the competition. Italy's representatives in the Cup Winners' Cup, Atalanta, gained a decisive break against Sporting Lisbon, being awarded a penalty after a Lisbon player handled on the line. Nicolini scored from the spot in the 44th minute. Then Cantarutti pounced on a loose ball at the back to make it 2-0 and increase Atalanta's hopes of making the semis with a return leg in Lisbon. Started in a confident fashion, but in the 15th minute, their midfield playmaker Mateus was on the receiving end of a yellow card for handball, even though the rules stipulate that a yellow card should be given for intentional handball by a defending team. Bayern were punished accordingly, with a shot from Yugoslav Milan Jankovic deflecting into goal. The 95,000 home fans couldn't have wished for a better start. Real needed to score first after losing the opening leg 3-2. In fact, Bayern at one stage led that match by 3-0. 4 minutes before the break, Real gained the upper hand. Gordillo broke through on the left and Michel did the rest. 2 goals was enough for Real as they advanced to the semis with an overall win of 4-3. Belgian side Anderlecht gained a decisive break against Portuguese champions Benfica, but it wasn't enough. Benfica advanced after winning the first leg at home 2-0 for a 2-1 aggregate win. In Glasgow, locals Rangers needed goals against Romanian side Steaua Bucharest, but it was the visitors who broke through, with Lakatas scoring after just 3 minutes. That goal giving the visitors an overall lead of 3-0. However, Rangers hit back with Goff heading home from close range. Rangers needed 3 more goals to win their tie. In the 30th minute, the Scots gained a vital breakthrough, winning a penalty, which was duly converted by McCoist. The goal wasn't enough. The Romanians marched on 3-2 on aggregate. Meanwhile, in the Cup Winners' Cup, perhaps snow skis should have been the order of the day in the tie between Dynamo Minsk and Belgian side Mechelen. Ohana put Mechelen ahead in the 29th minute, and his team now held an overall lead of 2-0. Controlling the ball in such atrocious conditions was difficult, but not for Kisten, who levelled terms in the 59th minute. However, the draw wasn't enough, and Mechelen advanced. In Amsterdam, Ajax met Swiss side Young Boys before a healthy crowd of 30,000, and the fans were absolutely delighted with Larsson's winning goal in the 39th minute for a 2-0 aggregate win. It took 66 minutes before Peter Houtman broke the deadlock for Sporting Lisbon in the home tie against Italian side Atalanta. Sporting lost the first leg 2-0, and they looked set for an interesting duel. However, Jorge's goal was disallowed because of a foul on the keeper. Atalanta responded in the best way possible. Cantarutti beat the offside trap, rounded the keeper and finished off for a final score of 1-1 and an Atalanta aggregate win of 3-1. In the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup, Greek side Panathinaikos were unlucky not to be awarded an early penalty in the away leg against Bruges of Belgium. The first leg ended in a 2-2 draw, and the locals gained the vital breakthrough, with Brüller scoring in the 43rd minute. Then tragedy again for the Greeks, with Argentinian star Ramon Roca being ruled offside. Bruges also suffered from the referee's decisions, with a late Brüller effort being disallowed for offside. But nonetheless, Bruges' first half goal was enough. They won 3-2 on aggregate. In West Germany, Werder Bremen was at home to Verona of Italy, and it took a sparkling shot from Sauer to break the deadlock. Sauer's 34th minute goal now gave the Germans an overall advantage of 2-0. Verona now threw everyone forward, and it paid dividends, with Volpecina equalising in the 54th.
Und die nächste. Und das ist passiert. 1:1.
The Italians needed 2 more goals, and naturally they became desperate. But their desperation showed up in the 75th minute. Antonio Di Gennaro received his marching orders, and the match ended at 1-1.
Evening. Free kick aimed towards Whiteside and falling to Wilson, and that's a fine shot, and what a goal! Danny Wilson with his first goal for Northern Ireland with just 1 minute of the match gone. Instinctive shot, very confident piece of play indeed. Under pressure from Whiteside. Northern Ireland still tending to dominate the middle of the park, which is where the big problems have been of late. Jovanovski, oh what a good goal. On the left foot, low drive, and a perfect finish.
In Swansea, Wales were on their way to a bright start against Yugoslavia. After just 7 minutes, Saunders was on the end of a fine build-up to make it 1-0. Yugoslavia responded with good possessional play, and the long ball paid off, with Stojkovic levelling 2 minutes before the break. Welsh million-dollar man Ian Rush had a chance to make it 2-1, but as has been his form of late, he shot wide. Then absolute tragedy for Wales. A poor back pass by Nicholas was easily intercepted. With Southall stranded, Jakojevic did the rest. Ten minutes from the end, Yugoslavia had what appeared to be a fair goal disallowed. And although it didn't please the visitors, they still went home with a good 2-1 victory. In Dublin, Kevin Moran took advantage of a goalkeeping mistake to put the Republic of Ireland ahead against Romania. In the last few seconds, the locals sealed the game with Kelly left unfree on the back post after Sheedy provided the final pass. Republic of Ireland 2, Romania 0. While the Irish were celebrating, in Athens the Soviet Union was giving Greece a good lesson in possessional soccer. The last time both sides met, the Soviets won by 3-1, and on this occasion it was almost the same story. Protasov took just 2 minutes to put the Soviets ahead. He ran through on the perfect through ball. Protasov then set up Litovchenko with goal number 2. Two-0 it was after just 17 minutes, and no wonder the local fans weren't happy. However, Saravakos would have brought some joy to the 30,000 fans, even though he was denied by the keeper. The second half was much the same story. Protasov grabbed his second goal in the 49th minute. The Greek defence showed no organisation in the middle, and Protasov punished them again, scoring the Soviets' fourth goal and of course his hat-trick. Greece tried its best to salvage some respect from the match, and when they did have the chance, they failed to take advantage. Final score, Greece 0, USSR 4. In Bordeaux, France should have been punished early on in its game against Spain. Leroux played a poor back pass to goalie Batz, who conceded a penalty for upending Baquero in the 6th minute. Although Batz was to redeem himself, he could do nothing as Caldere was in the right place to put Spain ahead. At the other end, the Spanish goalie Zubizarreta didn't have the best of games. First, he failed to fish the ball out of danger, and Bassi took advantage in the end. In the 26th minute, Zubizarreta was punished again, but this time it took a brilliant scissor kick from French captain Fernandez to put his team ahead. The celebrations perhaps started a bit too early. Mitchell almost levelled terms with a long-range thunderbolt. In the end, it was France who created the final chance, with Cantona showing some acrobatic skills to miss by inches. "2-1 it was, a result, no doubt, which brought joy to the 36,000 fans.
A header from Nick Harford. But almost immediately, Reading drew level. Michael Julks outpaced the Luton defence before chipping over Les Seeley. 5 minutes later, Reading were ahead. Julks was brought down by Breaker, and Stuart Bevan scored from the penalty. In the second half, Reading increased their lead. Mick Tate was left unmarked on the far post to score only his third goal of the season. Reading rounded off their surprise win with a fourth goal, made by Lyndon Jones and scored by Neil Smillie. It was Reading's first success in a cup final at Wembley, and it's estimated they've made nearly £250,000 from the receipts for today's game.
Yes, Luton. Multi-million-pound squad. It's a star spotter's paradise. Peter Beardsley, worth almost £2 million, might not have known it at the time. He was about to be dropped. Danish international Jan Molby took his place in a cagey, defensive lineup. The individuals may change, but the pattern remains. Ablett's early cross, Aldrich alone up front missed the chance. Forest's Gary Crosby is known as Bing and admires George Best. Neither fact surprises, but he almost gave his side a shot 13th minute lead. From then on, anything but a Nottingham win would have astonished. Hansen headed away Webb's first cross, but with Forest insistent, Webb's second effort forced him to an own goal. Hope and Crosby came together again early in the second half. On the road to goal, the Forest winger was tripped by Gillespie. But the wishes of Forest's capacity crowd were not fulfilled. Clough's penalty, Grobbelaar's save. Beardsley did eventually appear as substitute, but moments later, Forest were 2 up. Crosby again the source, Webb's brilliant strike. "What's it like to be outclassed?" sang the crowd. It was the almost impertinent reality, though Liverpool's Barnes tempted Webb to a late trip. Aldridge converted, but Forest held on to gain the psychological advantage for their cup semi-final next Saturday. Nottingham Forest 2, Liverpool 1.
Rail an important break, winning a penalty in the 6th minute, which he duly converted. But any hope Rail had of gaining a decisive home advantage was quelled in the 20th minute, with Linskins easily deceiving the Rail keeper. And then Sanchez had the opportunity to put Rail back into the lead, but this time the PSV keeper redeemed himself with a point-blank save. That miss could prove costly in the return leg, with both teams having to settle for a 1-1 draw. Meantime, Benfica took a major step towards reaching the final of the Champions Cup after drawing away to Steaua Bucharest, largely due to the acrobatics of goalie Silvino. That was the best chance of the game, a match which ended in a 0-0 draw. Ajax of Amsterdam certainly enjoyed their trip to Marseille in France in the first leg of their Cup Winners' Cup semi-final. A brilliant header from Witschke gave the Dutch the lead after 12 minutes. And it was Witschke who gave Ajax a valuable half-time advantage with another goal in the 42nd. Then came one of the best solo goals of the season. In the 89th minute, Bergkamp challenged for the ball, shrugged off a couple of defenders, and with a keeper way off his line, drove the ball into goal. The 3-0 result has virtually assured Ajax a place in the final. In the other semi, Belgian side Mechelen were at home to Italian second division club Atalanta. Israeli international and former Sydney City player Eli Ohana had opened the scoring in the 7th minute with his 4th goal of the competition. But Atalanta's response was almost immediate. Stromberg equalised just 2 minutes later. With 7 minutes to play, the breakthrough came for Mechelen. Piet den Boer was on hand to slam home a half-hearted clearance by Stromberg to ensure a Mechelen victory. One goal was all that separated Bayer Leverkusen against Werder Bremen in the UEFA Cup semi-final first leg tie in Leverkusen. A 61st minute goal which Reinhard will never forget. Bayer 1, Bremen 0. In the other UEFA Cup semi, lackadaisical defending and a cool head in front of goal were the ingredients for Club Brugge's first goal against Espanyol of Barcelona. Koolman's goal, his 5th of the competition, came just 3 minutes before the break. Then tragedy for the Spaniards. Gallard's attempted back pass ended up in the back of his net. There's still hope for Espanyol. In the first 3 rounds, Bruges lost the away leg by at least 3 goals.